Is that hello, welcome to, I'm Katie Shell. Good, nice to see you. And we are already in the new moon in Cancer. The new moon is, and actually the moon has been in Cancer for a little while. The moon is going to be in any sign for about 2.5 days, and it goes through, as it goes through the whole cycle of the month. It goes through each sign for about 2.5 days. So we actually move pretty quickly from one sign to the next. But when it hits that new moon, it's coming into conjunction with the sun, and that emphasizes whatever degree and whatever sign it's in. So that's what that's why we bring such an emphasis to the new moon and the full moon, which is then at opposite ends of the sky. And so with the new moon, again, we're bringing emphasis, it's making double, so we're kind of, and because this is Cancer new moon, the ruler of Cancer is the moon, so it's like this triple Cancer, water, emotional, mothering, all of the energy of Cancer, and the moon is kind of tripled in this particular new moon. And so we're good. And then, as I mentioned somewhere in the comments, next month it's going to be the opposite because it's going to be in Leo, which is ruled by the sun, and so it'll be extra sun in that new moon. And so what happens is then, as the moon, our emotions, our feelings, our kind of day-to-day stuff will still be colored and still be influenced by what sign the moon is. So in a couple days, you're going to start feeling that energy coming from Leo. You're going to start feeling that again, and that's going to help you with the energy to then manifest what it is you decide, what you come into right now at the Cancer full moon. And so, at the Cancer new moon. And so because it's the sun and moon in conjunction, so that means that they are together, they're at the same space, which is 18 degrees. And if you know where 18 degrees is in your chart, that's going to be really important. And I've got a couple of charts that we're going to look at to kind of really emphasize it, and so you can understand a little bit better on how to read your chart and how to gauge what you want to manifest right now. And I like to really do my manifestation rituals once the new moon actually shows up, not on that actual conjunction, which was about 2 hours ago, I think. But the next day, when you start to see that little bit of a sliver of a new moon coming in, because that's when it really starts to grow, that's when it starts to blossom. But on today, and the days kind of leading up to the new moon are really days for us to kind of think about and contemplate and feel into what we want to manifest. So especially again with this being the new moon in Cancer, we want to feel into it. And so I'm going to just show you a little bit. Here we go. So here's the chart, what it kind of looks like. So here we are right here. And that is, the sun and the moon in conjunction in Cancer. And what we can see, so one of the first things that I want to talk about in this is that obviously, so we're going to talk about what Cancer means and what all of that energy of Cancer. So Cancer is mothering. It's about having this hard shell. And see, I'm actually wearing my little turtle headband today because to me that turtle, as much as the crab represents, that the turtle represents Cancer for me. So that is that mothering energy. That is being your home. That is considering your home. That is what we want to do in our home, what we want to do as mothers with our mothers. Anything that really connects with how we feel about being a mother, whether it's a pet mother or our mothers, our grandmothers. It's also about our ancestors and our connection to that divine feminine. So we have that kind of triple divine feminine energy happening right now. So we really want to just sink into that and call into whatever great mother that you feel connected to. I love connecting into Mother Mary. You might feel Kuan Yin or, Gaia herself. Whatever it is, whoever holds that great mother space in your heart for you is the energy that you want to call in, is the guidance that you want to call in as you're kind of contemplating what you want to start. So because this is, again, the new moon, we want to think about new things and things that we want to create, things that we want to manifest in our life, things that are going to help us feel more at home. It's a way to also start looking at how we nurture ourselves, how we mother ourselves. You know, we can have the greatest mothers in the world or the worst mothers in the world. Most mothers are somewhere in between. And, you know, we can have really good relationships with our mothers and still have things that we're missing, still have things that we wish were said to us. So this is a time to really think about those things and mother ourselves. You know, an exercise that you can do over the next day, to, you know, after we get off this call, tomorrow morning, tomorrow night, you know, as you're doing this, is like sit down with yourself and take some deep breaths and go into that space with the inner child and ask yourself what she wants to hear, what you need to hear, and start saying those things to yourself. And start thinking about what you want to manifest that feels like that feels like home for you. And so when you do that, those are the kinds of things that we want to focus on manifesting during this Cancer new moon. So on top of that, we have, and so then we start kind of looking into the other things that not, you know, this is going to be the Cancer, every year around this time, there's going to be a Cancer new moon. So this is going to apply every single time. Now we start looking at some of the things that color this particular Cancer new moon that make it a little unique, because every sky picture is going to be different. And one of the things going on right now is that this Cancer new, is that the new and, that the moon and sun are in opposition. So that means that they are on the opposite side of this wheel. So here, and we draw this, see this red line, draws all the way across to Pluto in Capricorn. And so having this opposition between the sun and moon and Pluto, whenever we have oppositions, it's about seesawing. It's about compromising. It's about, you know, giving and taking. What do we need here? What do we need there? It's not a negative aspect, but it always challenges us. It always brings us to our next level. And Pluto is in there right now, and it has been for the last, you know, several years, kind of been going through Capricorn and you know, I like to say tearing down the patriarchy. You know, it's about real, so what, and it's about, Pluto's about transformation, and it's about what is important to you. So what kinds of things do you need to see restored? What do you need to see transformed? What do you need to see change? Where in your life, especially when it comes to things that are structured, do you need to see change? Because not only do we have this opposition with Pluto, so, you know, I can start really getting into the, you know, there's always so many things happening, and then Pluto is in a square. So square is kind of like this, you know, that's butting heads to Uranus. So we see this, have this big T-square happening too in this. So there's all of these challenges, and then that's been happening for the last couple of years, and that's going to be happening for another year. So that's also being activated by this particular new moon. And what that is doing is, it's again that fight between the old, the traditional values, and these new innovations, this new independence. And so that we're really bringing that into the forefront. And so right now, when coming back to being in this new moon in Cancer, you know, we're really going to focus on that emotion, what feels like home, what feels good, and helping and allowing that transformational energy has been overreaching for a while. Let that guide you, let that help bring into your life those new things. So those are the big things that are kind of happening in this. We also have, you know, Neptune is also in a trine, so that is a really harmonious aspect to this conjunction of the sun and the moon. And so that helps us expand our mind. It's in retrograde. A lot of these planets are in retrograde right now, but a lot of the outer planets are, and that just means going over the old steps. So going over those things that maybe don't feel like truth to us, things that that are illusions to us, and kind of breaking that down and really feeling down deep into our roots, deep into what feels good. Again, I can't emphasize enough this idea of what feels like home for us, what feels safe, what feels secure. And those are, again, the things that everyone wants to manifest right now. So then the next thing that I'm going to go into a little bit is I had a couple people who gave me their birthdays, and so as I go through these, I'm going to talk about just different ways that this manifests in different people's charts. Because what you want to look at is you want to look at who am I looking at? Okay, so this is Megan. And her sun, so this is where she is. So you look at where the green planets are. If you go to astro.com, you can look up your own chart and you can see which house it falls into. And for her, it falls into her 12th house. And this is really interesting. And so when we have an emphasis on the 12th house, and so every Cancer season is going to be an emphasis on the 12th house for her. We have an emphasis on secrets and about things that are kind of deep and in the unconscious, whether our personal unconscious or collective unconscious. So if something falls into that 12th house for you, if you find that means that it's a time to, and so for her, this is a time to really go into what is unconscious that wants to be revealed. What is unconscious that wants to be opened up? Because this is always going to invite her in to do that. On top of that, it is in conjunction with her natal Mars. And actually, every single person who I believe, except for one, that I have done a chart for on this has had an aspect to their natal Mars. And so when you have an aspect to your natal Mars, that means where Mars was when you were born. If you have something activating that means where it is in the sky right now. That means you're going to have a boost of energy, and you're going to have more energy, and you're going to have more assertiveness. It may also be more aggressive. And I didn't even talk about Venus and Mars, which is, I'll talk about that now that I'm talking about Mars too. And this is, again, for everybody, is that Venus and Mars are coming into conjunction right now too. And that's, again, that balance of masculine and feminine, relationship versus independence. And so those themes are coming across, but that is in Leo. So that is really, instead of kind of this Cancer energy, which is about mothering, which is about nurturing, which is about security, which is about letting go of our fears, Leo is about shining and standing up and going out there. And so we have this Mars and Venus conjunction happening in Leo right now. And so that goes on for a couple days. I think it's exact on the 12th, and then it'll still be active for another, I think, week or so after that. The personal planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, don't stay in any particular aspect for very long. But that's just another thing to think about, really thinking about, what do we want? What is our feelings versus what is our needs? How do we meet the needs of ourselves? How do we meet the needs of our community? How do we put ourselves first? What is important to us? Really taking a look at our values. And so again, with Megan, she's got that in the 12th house, and then she's got it in between. And I have a few people also with these aspects to Lilith going on. And so I always love to talk about Lilith, the wild feminine, the divine feminine, but she embodies it in a way that is just, she doesn't care about what anybody else thinks. She does what she needs to do. It is very, very primal. It is very much about getting in touch with your own identity. It's about getting in touch with your roots. It's about getting in touch with who you are outside of what anybody else thinks, outside of even, it's so much a part of, I like to think of the goddess pose with her. I have this card where she's standing, I'm not standing there, but yoga goddess pose. And so with this particular chart, she's got these aspects with Lilith, and she's got the aspects of Mars. So they're really pushing her to be herself and to take that step and to be assertive, but it's because it's in the 12th house, it feels like it's underneath things. It's a little hard to get to. It feels uncomfortable because it is in that 12th house. So that is, those are sort of the big aspects that I have. It's also, no, that's not really that. Yeah, so that is what I wanted to say about Megan's. And if anybody knows where something is in their chart, and you want me to talk about the house if you know what your ascendant is, I can you can type it in the comments, and I'll talk about that house. There's different ways to do it, even if I don't have your chart. So this next one, Poppy. So I've got you here. I hope you're still on. I hope you found us again after I got off. So this is totally fascinating chart. So for her, again, we have, so for her it's in Cancer. So her, well, of course, for everybody it's in Cancer, but it's in her 4th house. And the 4th house is actually the natural house of Cancer. So not only do we have, so with this chart, not only do we have the moon in Cancer, ruled by Cancer, we have it in the 4th house, which is also ruled by the moon in Cancer. So it's like 4 or 5 times with all of this, finding out about your roots, finding about understanding your roots, understanding your mother, understanding where you come from, understanding who you are. And so this actually makes a lot of sense with some information I know for today, that this came out today. And so, but then she has this beautiful stellium up here with her name, and I'm going to focus kind of on the moon, because this new moon is in opposition. So that means it is opposite to her natal moon in Capricorn. And so because it is opposite to her natal moon, we're again emphasizing the moon again. We're bringing more aspects of the moon. So it's just moon, 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 moon. And then she also has Lilith, and she's got several things in there, which, these are little mini readings really focused on just helping everyone else understand what is happening with this Cancer new moon. And so because she has that opposite, because it's in opposition, that means we're finding balance between her desire to be, having a Capricorn moon gives you this desire for structure. It makes you want structure. And it makes you want structure to your emotions. And because it's in the 10th house, that's what people see in you. So you look like somebody who is actually very structured. You look like somebody who is in control of your emotions. You look like somebody who is mature and can handle a lot of things. And that might not actually feel very comfortable for you because of some of the other, because you have Lilith in there, and because you have Uranus in there, and because you have several other aspects in there. It actually doesn't feel comfortable to you. And so this new moon, again, is going to be about finding the roots, finding what means home to you, finding what feels comfortable, and bringing that into balance with all of these other ideas and all of these other constraints that you have been feeling in your emotions and that have been placed upon you. And so this will bring those things out. This is going to bring out the things that you have felt obligated to do because of its particular placement. So the last one that I want to do, and again, I could look at all of these for, hours and hours, and I do. I'm an astrologer at the Arizona Biltmore, and I also do work privately. I'm an intuitive healer and all sorts of other lovely, obviously, aromatherapist, lots of wonderful things. So we haven't even talked about oils, which is kind of a funny thing for me. But, all right, so who are we talking? We got Angela here. And so So this is why it's always so important to look at your individual chart. So even though Angela also has this full moon, this moon, so here we go. No, that's Mars. There's the moon. Okay, there's the moon and the sun, and it is conjunct the IC, is what you call this line that starts the 4th house. So it is, and her 4th house is also obviously ruled by Cancer, because everything, wherever the moon is right now, is going to be ruled by Cancer. And so although, like Poppy's chart, we're looking at it in the 4th house, so we're looking at that like triple moon, quadruple goddess, quadruple feminine, quadruple, like getting into our feelings, getting into our home, getting into the mother, allowing us to really feel safe, allowing us to let go of our fears, because when we are in that space, a lot of times fear tends to get the better of us. And so we have to allow that not to happen. We need to allow the fear not to get our, keep us from expressing our emotions, keep us from feeling our emotions. Sometimes just the fear of feeling is going to keep us from feeling. It's not even the fear of being found out or being seen. Even if you are alone in a room by yourself and you are the only one person who is with your emotions, sometimes it's scary. And sometimes that's the scariest because you don't have anybody else to blame or anyone else to look at. So I just, the things, the things that come up as I speak are the things that need to be said. So anyway, so I'm coming back to Angela's chart here, and because it's right on the cusp of her 4th house, to me that means that this is going to be kind of a transformational time for her as far as being with her mother, as she sees herself as a mother, as understanding what her home life means for her. She's also got this, no, that's not happening there. Yes. And then she also has Jupiter in trine to that. So having Jupiter in trine, that means that's these long blue lines, and that is that's that harmonious aspect. That's like our cheerleaders, and so that Jupiter is really pushing her to expand and really create some new ways of thinking, and that for everyone really, but in particular having that Jupiter there is thinking of new ways to really define how we feel as our home, our safety, our security, what we want around us, what our roots are, what our family even means to us. Who is family? Is family the people the family you were born into, or is it the family that you attract as you move around in life? And are those and what about your roots pushes you in that direction? So those are the things that we keep on wanting to think about when we're thinking about what we want to manifest in this new moon. So what else do we have here? There were some other interesting things, but that was the big one. And then, so she's got no, that's too far. Saturn. Let me just check. Yeah, so it's just, really focusing on where these things fall in your own chart, looking at all the, if you, I haven't seen anybody shout out what their ascendants are, so I'm not going to go into any more of the specific houses on this. But really, again, focusing your time, focusing the next couple weeks, especially so tomorrow, tonight, tonight, take some deep breaths. Allow yourself to really kind of settle into the feeling that the wisdom of the cosmos, the wisdom, not to just plug the essential oil company I work with, but the wisdom of the earth, and really, feeling those roots and digging into the ground and digging into that knowledge, that ancient wisdom that is here for us. Obviously, working with essential oils, anointing yourself, anointing the head, anointing the sacral, anointing the roots, anointing the feet. With vetiver would be really lovely because it's a root and because it reminds us that we are safe and secure. You can also anoint with blue chamomile because that is that divine mother water energy. So either of those oils would be really beautiful to work with tonight. As you kind of allow that wisdom, your guides to come in, your higher self to come in, invite them in, and ask yourself those questions about what does home mean? How do I need to be nurtured? How do I need to be taken care of? What do I need in my life to feel safe? And just allow that infinite, allow that cosmic connection, that earth connection to come through tonight, and then tomorrow night use that information, or even as we move into Leo in the next 2 days or whatever it is, then do your manifestation. Then use that energy, use that guidance that you get tonight to actually do your manifestation ritual the next day. So, oh, something just came up. All right. Nope. Some random thing. Anyway, so I'm going to, because there's a little bit of a lag here. I'm going to wait a minute, but if anybody has any questions about their particular charts, yes, wow, you are speaking. Oh, thank you. I love that. Thank you for joining us, Renee. So if you know what sign you are, you can type it in. I can, do it. If you know your ascendant especially, I can tell you what house it would normally fall into. It's always going to be, it might depend, because it depends on what system you use, right? And so that's a whole other thing. But generally, if I need, I can speak to which particular area, because each house represents a different area of your life. And so depending on where the moon and the sun or whatever falls into, whatever we're talking about, it's going to be whichever house it falls into. So yay. All right. So thank you all again for joining me. I don't know much. Okay. You're an Aries born. So I would need your time. Okay, this is a great example. So I would need to know the time you were born to be able to run your whole chart. But what I can tell you is that with the sun in Aries, when you have the sun in Aries, what like a popular horoscope would do would put Aries as your first house and then divide it up from that. So having Aries as your first house makes it really easy to do it. So we would just treat it like your fourth house is ruled by Cancer. So that makes it, so all of these messages that I've been putting forth, because I had two of the charts that I did were ruled by Cancer. So it's the same thing. We're just really triple focus on that mother. Everything that we said, everything that's, it doesn't really change anything. What's the name of your, the website for creating your chart is astro.com. ASTRO.com. Let's see. Can I do that? Can I type in here? Yes, I can. Here we go. Astro.com. Poppy, I have your chart. I'll email it to you. But yeah, you can go in and get it yourself, and then you can take a look. There you go. And so, yeah, so that's where you can go and get your chart yourself. And then next time we do this, because I'm gonna be trying to do this on the and I'll try to do it a little bit further out. So like the Aquarius full moon, I believe, is July 24th. I do have a class on the 22nd. The Magdalene, the Feast Day of Mary Magdalene is July 22nd. I do have a class at the Southwest Herb Shop on that Thursday night. So I'll probably do it again on. Oh, great. Yeah, my website is just katieshell.com. That's really easy. If you haven't been to mine, if you please like my page and all that other fun stuff. And then you will, let's see, subscribe to my newsletter. There we go. There's that. And, oh, you got your time. Okay, so 2:38. If you want to PM me, all right, let me do this really quick. Let me see if I can. So Renee, if you can, I do need to close up, but let me just see if sorry, I've got my computer in front. I'd have to look it up. All right. So, yeah, just when you look it up, look and see. Yeah. Go make a chart for me. Go make a chart for yourself, and then just figure out which house is your fourth house. So you see how and it'll depend on what degree exactly 18 degrees falls in your chart. So you could have, let me see one. Okay, let me go back to Megan's chart. So like, you can have you can have the chart, you like with Megan, she had her 12th house, this moon, the Cancer, the sun and moon are in as 18 degrees Cancer, which is in her 12th house, but that house is actually ruled by Gemini. And because it's ruled by Gemini, she really, I should have gone into this a little bit before, the intellectual stimulation is really important part of discovering, of going into those places for her to get into that emotional place where this is being activated right now. Because we always look at the house is, what our house looks like, who rules our house is who rules our house, who makes the rules for the house, how the house is decorated, and then what is inside of the house might be a different planet and a different sign. And so those are things that are occupying this house. Those are the things that are making that house move forward. Those are the things that are activating and driving that house. So, just figuring out what degree 18 degrees falls in for you, and then you can just, it's easy, just look up keywords for, whatever house it is. If you haven't picked it up yet, I will, so just make sure, I'll be doing this again. And so go ahead and send me your, I have your information, so I'll just let me know if you're going to be on next time. So anyway, I am going to sign off for the night. Have many blessings, lots of good wishes. Just really just allow yourself to feel this time. I feel. That's what this is all about right now. And it's, I feel you are safe, you are secure, and your inner child deserves to be nurtured, and your inner child deserves to be seen. And so just allow her to come out, allow her to be felt, and see what she wants, and try to give it to her. And that's what you want to manifest this year. So thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and hopefully I'll see you again.